to the distinguished gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Rokita.
Gentleman from Indiana is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I thank the gentlewoman from North Carolina for yielding me the time, and not just for the time, but for her continued leadership on the floor of this House and in the halls of Congress. It's steady, it's dignified, it's common sense, and it's certainly a great reflection of the people she represents. I rise this afternoon to give my strong support to this measure. During this time of economic uncertainty and high unemployment, it is more important than ever, Madam Chair, to make sure the federal government does not stand in the way of Americans who wish to continue their education and gain the skills necessary for a more prosperous future. It's pretty simple. I believe a strong higher education system is critical to preparing American graduates for an increasingly competitive workforce. In Indiana, my students are not just competing with other students from Fort Wayne and Evansville. They're competing with students from places whose names we can barely pronounce all over the world, and that requires a different strategy. However, the regulatory initiatives put forth by the Department of Education will only add strain and undue burden on our colleges and universities. One of these regulations pertains to the authorization a college or university must attain from a state when operating within that state for institutions providing online education programs, which is becoming the new norm. This regulation could require them to obtain authorization in every state where enrolled students reside in order to participate in the federal student aid programs. This regulation will only serve to negatively impact states and institutions of higher education across the country and inject the federal government once again into an issue that is best left to the states and the post-secondary institutions themselves. I heard from many outstanding institutions in Indiana on this regulatory change. They are facing potentially thousands of additional administrative hours just because they offer online programming. That is not fair. That is not American. Not only that, but if this rule goes into effect, they will likely deny entrance to students in states where they are not approved and deny financial aid to any current students living in those states as well. For that reason, I urge my colleagues, for all these reasons, I urge my colleagues to adopt this measure.